So I'm not going to waste your time. This is an evidence-backed, science-based way to break ruts. If you're into a rut right now, or if you're constantly getting into a rut, this is a very important knowledge you must have, because ये ऐसा typical video नहीं है जहाँ पे मैं बोलने वाला just make a habit track or something. No, I'm going to explain the science behind why you enter the ruts and how to break that using and manipulating your own mind. This is going to be a very interesting video, and it's going to be very, very short, to the point, so you can execute perfectly and you can just get out of a rut right now. So make sure to pay attention to the video, and let's just begin. So welcome. Today I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to know to break a rut. जैसे अभी क्या होता है कि when you're on this grind on self improvement, what happens a lot of the time is that you're not able to stay consistent on these habits, and that's a big problem because it kind of holds you back and you enter what is called a rut. Now let me just explain what is a rut. A rut is a repetitive cycle of behavior. This is a very important statement you must understand. Rut is a repetitive cycle of a behavior. एक behavior जो continuously repeat होता है, that is called a rut. So whenever you embark on a journey, you are bound to face challenges and alter your behavior. This repetitive cycle of behavior is what is called a rut. This is very, very important. Just pay attention with me right now and just try to understand what I'm trying to say. All right. What happens is usually when you are on self improvement, क्या होता है कि you start to feel good, and then because you start to feel good, you start to feel complacent. Yes, because you start to feel complacent, you become sort of, you enter this rut again, and then you get angry, and then you become good again. So this is sort of the trend that happens, right? तुम्हारे साथ भी ऐसी होता होगा, मेरे साथ भी ऐसी होता है कि you start to feel good on you're making progress and stuff, and then you become complacent. तुम complacent हो जाते हो, सब कुछ खराब हो जाता है, then you become angry, and then you start to be good again. This is how the cycle usually goes about, and this is like entirely I'm going to explain the science behind the exact rut and why you enter the ruts and how you can beat it. So just pay attention to this video. Alright, cycles of rut. Each person has ups and downs, and each cycle of this behavior has a top and a bottom. This is a diagram. Alright, so ये देखो, this is called wavelength. You've learned it in school, physics में सीखा है. Sound का wavelength ऐसा दिखता है. So what exactly happens is, ये जो up and down, up and down, up and down जो होता है, ये behavior cannot be stopped. This is a default setting. Default होता है ना, एक default समथिंग जो आता है जब गेम्स जब खेलते हो, एक डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग के साथ आता है. सो सिंस यू हैव बीन बॉर्न एज अ ह्यूमन, तुम्हारा भी ये डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग होता है कि यू गोइंग टू हैव दिस अप्स एंड डाउन्स. बट व्हाट यू कैन कंट्रोल related to these ups and downs is that you can control to the level that it can fall or rise to. Remember this. Let me say it again. You cannot control ruts. You can control the level that they fall and rise to. It's a very, very important statement. I want you to really, really understand this. So if you look at this diagram, this is what you will call the good part, right? You feel good. This, I will say, is the complacent part. Yes. This is exactly very, very important to understand. This part you can say is the good. Yes. This part is good. Here, okay. Complacency, I won't even say is this. I will say this is sort of this part of the graph is what is you can call complacency. Yes, this part of the graph is anger, and then from here it's again good. Yes, so this is how the graph usually will look like. And so what you can do, remember this, you can control the level that the graph can rise and fall to, right? That is very, very important to understand. So here is exactly how to break the rut. Okay, first you need to understand the standards of the bottom. This is the most important thing that we're going to focus on. This is exactly what can genuinely change your life if you pay attention to this. Each and every single person has the lowest standard they will fall to, and that is the limit, and they won't fall below that. You can't fap 10 times a day, right? 3 बार के बाद you hit that bottom, then you're angry, you're frustrated, right? 10 बार you are some sort of a maniac. Do you understand me? So there is a limit to what you can fall to, and you need to understand that you won't change before you hit that limit. मतलब कि अगर तुम एक दिन में 3 बार फैप नहीं करते, you're not going to stop fapping, right? You're not going to stop fapping. Exactly like this. Another controversial thing that I haven't heard anyone says, people won't start self improvement. You can't just force someone to just start improving their life. You know, they have to hit that rock bottom themselves, so then they start to change. This is how human behavior actually works. People won't really change unless they absolutely have to. Unless and until they hit that exact bottom, they're not going to change. So that's what you need to understand, is that whatever behavior you're in a rut, like whatever thing you're in a rut with, like maybe fitness hai, maybe just general self improvement hai, you need to understand what is the lowest standard for your bottom phase. The bottom phase is this, right? You need to understand what is the lowest standard for this exact phase, कि कौन सा लिमिट है जहाँ तक तुम गिर सकते हो. जहाँ तक तुम गिर सकते हो. So now how to actually break the rut? The way to break the rut is to focus on raising the bottom standard you have. You're bound to fail, but you won't change unless you hit the bottom standard. So instead of focusing on raising the highs, we focus on raising the lows. As the ceiling grows, so does the floor. So you must focus on raising the floor of your behavior. Do you understand this? So अगर you have to understand this ठीक से कि ये ग्राफ तुम्हारे साथ हमेशा होने वाला है throughout your life. Like I said, you can't change this graph. You can change the level to it rises or falls to. तो if you think about it, if you can, obviously फिजिक्स में ऐसा होता नहीं कि इसका हाइट और इसका हाइट अलग, ऐसा होता नहीं है, दोनों का एम्पलीट्यूड सेम होता है. बट इफ़ यू कैन रिड्यूस द लेवल टू विच योर बॉटम इज एट, मतलब लेट्स से यहाँ पे तुम्हारा नॉर्मल बिहेवियर का बॉटम है. यस, वाई डोंट वी इन जस्ट go like this and do this? I don't see anyone speaking about this. So instead of having this as the graph, you have this as the graph. Bro, look at this. Your standard is your bottom phase is higher than what it previously was, right? तो पहले से ज़्यादा हायर लेवल पे है वो बॉटम फेस. सो दैट इज़ हाउ यू डू इट, राइट? बिकॉज यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड ह्यूमन बिहेवियर ऐसा है कि यू वॉन्ट चेंज अनलेस यू हिट दैट लिमिट, अनलेस यू हिट दैट बॉटम, रॉक बॉटम. सो आई वाज थिंकिंग कि भाई इंस्टेड ऑफ फोकसिंग ऑन कि भाई हाउ टू चेंज योर बिहेवियर, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द साइंस बिहाइंड योर बिहेवियर. अगर ये तुम्हारा बॉटम है और ये हिट करने के बाद तुम ऊपर नहीं आते हो, इमेजिन अ बॉल. ओके, इमेजिन अ बॉल. लेट्स से दिस इज द फ्लोर. यू ड्रॉप अ बॉल हियर. It goes here, it's not going to bounce up unless and until it hits the bottom, doesn't it? जब तक वो bottom पे नहीं पहुंचता वो ऊपर नहीं आने वाला. And so instead of thinking like, भाई how do I change my behavior, how do I make the ball fall faster and come back faster, I was like, instead of focusing भाई रट के बाहर कैसे आते, you just understand how to not get into ruts. And so I was like, अगर तुम्हें बॉल जल्दी ऊपर चाहिए, instead of focusing on how fast to do it, just reduce the platform. तो ये कम टाइम में ऊपर आ जाएगा. You understand what I'm saying? This analogy will change your life, honestly. अगर तुम्हें बॉल जल्दी ऊपर चाहिए, just raise the platform. So that is exactly what you must do. If you want to break your rut, you need to raise the bottom phase ka standards. So how do you do that? You change your own self-image. Change the way you look at the bottom phase. Fapped once a day, you hit the bottom. Open the website, you hit the bottom. The moment you raise the bottom phase, the higher your standards are and the easier it will be to focus on not going down the rut. Let me read this again. The moment you raise the bottom phase, the higher your standards are and the easier it will be to focus on not going down the rut. ठीक है? Now this can have two sides as well. You know, you can be like, भाई इतना high standard है कि you constantly see everything as a rut, but just try to be a little bit logical and थोड़ा logic use करो and just try to understand what I'm trying to say here. ठीक है? When you raise the standard of the bottom, what you're going to do, you're going to be like, okay, भाई अभी कुछ भी मैं behavior जो ये level पे consider करूँगा, that is the bottom. That's when you have to change. Right? So that is something you have to understand कि अगर ये तुम्हारा बॉटम अगर ये तुम्हारा लोएस्ट स्टैंडर्ड है, यू नीड टू रेज योर लोएस्ट स्टैंडर्ड टू दिस. सो अगर लेट्स से ये हो गया 3 टाइम्स फैप करना, लेट्स से ये बस हो गया वेबसाइट, you just open something. So if you consider this to be your lowest standard, you're going to be like, bhai, this behavior is not tolerated, I need to change. Boom, you change. You can force your brain to change fast. That is exactly how you break a rut. This is exactly how to do this, the science of breaking a rut. I haven't seen anyone speak about this before, so I hope you have understood something from this video. And if you did, scroll down, like and subscribe. Don't sacrifice your future self for the pleasure today. Peace.